Let's look into the component. Let's look into the content.view here, and we're just gonna reuse our component we already created down here with cakes and just make changes to this. So first thing I want to do is I want to import my cake component into my content.view component here, and we do that again with import and the name of the component we want to import, that's cakes, and then we do a from, and now we need to locate the specific file for this, right? And first things first, we need to make sure that we are in the right directory for this. So I'm just going to write it out and explain it afterwards. So this is what we want. So we're starting, our starting point is here, and then we tell it to go one back. So we are right now in our content here, in our view folders, then we have to go one back, and then we go into the component, and then whoop-de-doo, we're locating the view. And if you make an error, I can actually just quickly show you in a moment. It's going to tell you there's an error and you need to fix that. Components is what we want to do next, and we want to register this. So cakes, sorry, we need to do those cakes, and the name was cake. So let's do this. If we did nothing wrong, we have no errors. Awesome. Let's just do an error here. So for example, I'm just looking in the same component or in a different component, it's going to prompt me with an error and say, let's go in here, no, here, says we can't locate the error. It's also down here, relative model not found. So make sure your link is right. And that's because we're trying to hit something that doesn't exist. So that's going to prompt you with an error, and if you just go through it slow with the lint down here, hopefully you'll be able to spot where the error is. But now we know it works. Let's just make sure it prints something out, because right now it's doing nothing. That's boring. So let's do cakes, and let's end it here. Hopefully we get out our cakes, and awesome. So now we have cakes between these two brackets. That's fantastic. Let's go into the cakes. That we know this is being printed out. Let's reuse this, and let's add something more to our cakes. Now I'm going to expand my cakes from an array to an object instead, so I can use key and values, and we can do a little bit more with it. We're going to do a little show and hide. So I still want to use this part here. I still want to use it as an array, but have objects inside of it for each of them. And the first one I want to create is just, I want a name of the cake. I forgot the name of the cake now. Chocolate cake, a cake. And I want it to have something, what are we going to call it? Call it tastiness. Tastiness. That's real, not smart, but it doesn't matter. Super delish. Right, and then I'm going to add this one here, show false, because I want to be able to hide and show some of the things. I want to be able to actually do it to this part here, as when you get to the page, it's only going to show you the name, but when you click the name, chocolate cake, it's going to show you that it's super delish as well. Awesome, that's the first one. Let's just copy paste this and reuse this for a few more. Let's create 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's create 6 of those. And 6. And all this will be moved back. Oops, that's one too many. And that, and that, and then you can do this or not. That's really up to you. I have to create some names. I'm just gonna break the movie and do this, and see you in a few seconds. Right, so I just changed a little bit. So yours was chocolate cake, and I just named these. I created a few different ones, whatever you want really, or if you only want 2 of those, that's fine. But now we have, again, an array with objects inside of it. We're going to reuse our list up here to print everything out. So we still want the for loop because we want to go through each of these to print them out. We are going to keep this, and we're going to keep this, but this won't, well, this will probably work. Let's see what this actually does to our browser. So it's going to print out the, where's my mouse? So it's going to print it out like this. This is not really what we want, right? We want to print out the name only, and not all the other things. So it's printing out the objects. For us to actually just print out the name or the tastiness or whatever we want, we're just going to add that here. So we just want to print out, for each time there's a cake, we want to print out the name instead. So hopefully that's going to do it now. That's awesome. Sweet. So we got that now. The other thing I just mentioned is I only want to show the tastiness once I actually click it here. So when I click this, it's going to actually show it. But before we get to that part, let's just go down here to we don't want it red anymore. We just want to add some code to this so we can actually make it everything a little bit more nice. So let's just do a few things here. So we want to do something to the UL and to the LI. The LI, we want list style, we want none. Let's make sure that it disappears. Excellent. And we also want each LI to be a width of something. Let's go, oops, sorry. Actually, let's not go width on this. Let's just add a little bit to it instead. We're going to use the flex to just move everything around. So the UL, we're going to use display flex, and that should put them in a line. Whoop, like so. Oh, that's crazy stuff. And we're going to add something more to this. We're going to add a max width, so it's going to scale. Let's add 1,000 pixels or 960 or whatever you want. We're going to add some margins to it, and let's add like 20 pixels auto, so it's going to move things around easily. And padding, we're going to create some boxes instead, I think. And let's do 0, let's do 10 pixels. We can always change this. And then the last one, we're going to do the box sizing so it doesn't break it if we're using padding and so on. You all hopefully know this one. Border box, excellent. List style, let's just do a little bit here as well. And let's move this a bit in, and like this. So list, we're going to use padding. So we moved everything around, 20 pixels. Let's add some margin as well, 10 pixels. And let's do text align center. Let's see what this does to our new. So it's getting closer. Let's just add a border around this. Go back to my here, and let's add a border so we can actually see. Oh, why is it give? Oh, there we go. Border 1 pixel solid, and let's add the color of this. No, not that's too red. Let's go light. What's red, green, blue? I actually want a bit of blue. So let's go 229966. That's a pretty color. So it's green. Woo! Excellent. So now we have this, and we're just gonna use the flex to actually, let's remember to do this one this time. We're gonna use the flex to make it grow and fill out remaining space. And let's add a flex spaces as well. So let's see, let's do 200 pixels. Let's see what this does to our browser. So for nothing yet, but it's gonna scale hopefully at some point. But let's leave it at this. And let's continue with adding a little bit more to our code up here. Now, I mentioned that I actually wanted to, once we click it here, we want to add the information below. And that's what we're going to do now. So in our LI up here, we're going to tell it we want to show, if we click our LI, so the actual list item, we wanted to either change the show down here to either false or true, depending on what we're doing, right? So let's add that in here. So if v on click like this, or if you want to do the hot one, it's the add click like this. That one is also very usable. And we want to go into the array of ninjas, and we want to, not with a capital A, not ninjas, what? The fudge cakes. And then we cakes with DS. And then we want to go into the show down here, and right now it's set to false, but we want to do this, if you remember this from the previous one. So if you click it, it's just going to change it to either true or false. So this is just, once you click it, it's either true or false. So switching this between the two. Now we also want to, let's just put this in a paragraph here. Whoop, there we go, and there we go. And the last one we want to do is we want to make a paragraph here for our, what's the word? It's tastiness. So cake.tastiness, like so. And if we just click here now, it's going to show them, right? But that's not what we really want. We want this to be hidden until we click the button, until we click the LI, not the button here. So we're going to add to our paragraph here the vShow. And then we're going to here set this to, of course, this one here. So depending on if you clicked it or not, it's either true or false. So show yes or no, we can just do this, false. Right now it is actually false, let's do true. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with that one. We're going to go to cake, and then show. So depending on what state it's in, it's true or false, it's going to show. So right now, let's click it, and you can see now we get the information and we can do it. And it works for each one. We can also get one that actually turns everything visible or just one of them. But that's how we can actually fix this. I just want to change I don't really want to add more to this with the CSS. I hope you get the point. But this is how we can set up 3 components that could control the entirety of a page. So a very basic page where you have footer, header, and content. And then again, in the content, we can just continue adding either like text in here, like this. We can create our own HTML in here and just populate this with, if you're using Vuetify, or you can create a component for the different parts in here. So cakes or top images, headers, products, whatever you really want, either as components or just putting it straight into here. Awesome. So that's kind of a quick introduction to how we can use nested components and kind of creating a basic web page.